up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is the Handmaid's Tale, Season 4, Episode 5. Blessed be the fruit, bitch. All right, y'all. Handmaid's Tale is bringing the heat this season, okay? Every episode been a hitter, ain't no quitters. This episode was titled Chicago because we on the battlefield for our Lord. Hallelujah. So let's go ahead. I don't want to waste any time. This is going to be a long review. Let's go ahead and get into it. Get your snacks, baby. Get your snacks because we about to get into it, honey. We're having a flashback to June. She's kind of daydreaming about her and Luke back in the day when they was making sweet, sweet love as she lays next to Steven humping on top of Janine, child, while this other guy is over there watching and looking at her like, girl, what's poppin'? It's me and you next, girl. It's me and you. They hear shots outside and June picks up a lamp and she goes to see what's going on and they tell her to stay put. But of course we know June is not going to listen to anybody. She looks out the window and she sees the fight. And I felt that, she wants to join the fight. You feel the longing in her spirit to get out there and fight the good fight and put everybody in danger, like she normally does. Then we see her washing some clothes and she's watching everybody play and be complacent, listening to music and whatnot. And she asks about the food that this girl is kind of getting ready together. And she says, how long does it last? And she said, well, it depends on how big the camp is, but we're not going to eat this. We're going to trade it. And she was like, trade it for what? For batteries? For other things, and she says, well, I want to go out there with you. And she says, it's Steven's call. So apparently Steven run this show, okay? He been running the show for a minute, and they don't do nothing without getting no approval from Steven. Janine is with Steven, so I just want to say I was wrong. I said I don't think that she liked him last week, but this
dum diddy dum diddy.
Okay, this dumb hoe is over here practicing shooting with Steven, like they go together. It is so sad to me how Janine just latches onto these horrible ass people. But she's practicing shooting and aiming with him, smiling it with her goofy ass and all of that. And June comes over and tells Steve that she wants to help him when they go out to trade this food. And he says, hell nah, bitch, you can't go. Fresh meat got to stay here. And Janine is like, baby, why don't you let her go? I mean, you could really use her. She got a whole plane full of kids out of Gilead. He looks at her and he's like, okay, I'm going to let you go, but you got to do what I say. Then we looking at kind of like a retirement home, I guess, for the aunties. And so we see them playing chess and, they doing puzzles and shit. And then we see Aunt Lydia walking on a treadmill, honey. Aunt Lydia is getting herself back together. And she looks out the window and she sees the newbies, the new handmaids who have just arrived. And Aunt Ruth comes up to her and she's like, Aunt Ruth, I'm ready to get back out there. I just want to know, when y'all gonna let me get back out there in the field? Aunt Ruth tells her, girl, it's no need for you to rush, sis. Okay, don't rush. Slow touch, okay? Don't rush. Take your time, girl. And she's like, girl, I'm back in full capacity. What you mean I'm ready to get out there? And she says, listen, girl, the young girls, the new handmaids, they are not your concern anymore. She was like,
hold up. The girls have always been my concern.
And she has served Gilead with everything that she has. And she says, can you speak to the commanders on my behalf to try to get me reinstated? Intercede on my behalf. And Aunt Ruth is like, good sis. Girl, listen. Every time you be with these bitches, they be getting away, girl. So, girl, your time is done. You did a good job. And I admired you when you was out there doing your thing, sis. But now it's time for you to rest, sis. That means set your ass down somewhere, girl, and be still. Do some puzzles and shit, girl. Learn how to knit. I don't know, sis, but, make it happen. Godspeed, girl. Oh, she get back on that treadmill, baby. And Aunt Lydia is determined to go directly to hell, y'all. I thought maybe she would get fed up with these people and join the resistance at some point. But, honey, she is mad. She is big mad. Then we see Commander Lawrence. He's meeting with the council and they're asking about the girls. Have they captured them hoes yet? Or recaptured them hoes yet? And he was like, nah, they haven't caught them yet. He was like, all right, well, blessed be to the people that's trying to catch them hoes out here because they keep getting away. They keep slipping through our fingers. So he goes into his little spiel, his proposal. I'm telling them that the world fears their military and they know that they can destroy all their enemies. But the sanctions that are placed against them are killing them. Guns alone cannot win a war. They need some money. He thinks that they should declare a ceasefire, just temporary for a few hours, and so that the people can get some food, some health care, or whatever. And so he was like, so the council is like, you want to aid and help terrorists. Like, that's what you want to do? And he was like, it's just temporary mercy for some permanent revenue. Like, if we can show that we want to help people, you know, that we want to get out there and take that moral high ground, you know, this is something that could earn us some favor with the UN and perhaps get us some money. And we can hit them harder in Nevada, you know, and some other places. You know, we can hit them harder for a little while. I'm not proposing weakness. Wasn't it your handmaid who took the children? Wasn't it your handmaid? He was like, yes, I was deceived, you know, but, you know, yeah, unlike women. Something he said, don't lie. I was like, child, Lawrence, I don't know if Lawrence is putting on. Lawrence is a manipulator. Lawrence seemed like he just trying to slide in, get in wherever he can fit in. He trying to live. He trying to stay alive. I don't know if he even believes in the principles of Gilead anymore. He seemed like he want to help June, but then he do stuff that go behind her back, you know, like he's vengeful and petty. He petty as hell, especially with Nick. He says, listen, we got economic problems, and if we can get over these economic problems, we can crush the insurgency. Everybody votes nah, we good. Even Nick votes against him. And when they leave, Nick tell him, listen, I can't support you, you know, giving help to people, giving aid to people at the borders, you know, where the insurgents are. And he says, well, you know, June could be out there. And he's like, it would help her if we could, you know, give the people some aid and do the ceasefire. And he was like, how you know June out there? He was like, listen, it's a big ass country and the eyes can't see everything, not even the eyes of Gilead. So this puts something on Nick's mind because he always think he helping June when hell he ain't helping nobody but himself. I hate Nick. I want him to die and Commander Lawrence could die with him. Okay, both of their ass could die. Then we see Steven and the crew. They on the move and they walk by this dead body because June... Well, Steven and the crew are on the move, and June already asking about when she can get a damn gun. Girl, she is just pussy. She is just pushy as hell, and Janina's like, girl, I'm gonna need for you to chill out. Like, you doing too much, okay? They walk up on this dead body, and the guy says the Nighthawks, they don't give a damn about nobody. They just want to shoot and kill soldiers. And he was like, you would probably love them, June, and June would, because June is about that action. He says because they found these dead soldiers, more soldiers are going to be out there soon. And then as soon as he says that, here we go. We see some soldiers hopping out the truck. They go hide inside of a building under a table. And June tells Steven, you know, I see the man, and the man is looking around, and he leaves. And she's like, you got a clear shot. You know, you should have took that shot. We could have took them down. He was like, and then what, girl? They're going to send more patrols. They're going to send more soldiers. It's not worth it for us to do it. And she was like, what type of resistance are y'all? The kind who survived. I low-key felt Steve when he was saying that. They got a lot of people back there that they don't want to put in jeopardy, but at the same time, you can't resist shit if you don't ever do nothing, if you just hiding around. It sounds like he just a snake. I don't like him. Back at the camp, June is oogling at them guns, and this guy, I think his name was Guy, he comes and introduces himself to her, and she was like, hello, how you doing? My name is not interested, bitch. I'm not trying to meet and greet none of these hoes around here, okay? And Janine is like, well, I see you making friends, girl. And Janine finds this baseball bat, and she just wants to give it to Steven because, you know, Steven is obsessed with baseball. I was like, bitch, you are got to be the stupidest hoe I ever seen in my life. And June is like, girl, just don't let him take advantage of you, girl. And this hoe is like, girl, I like him, you know. And June is like, well, just don't get too attached because life is short right here. So Janine tries to trade her cloak for the hat, but a guy wouldn't trade him for her. So June, feeling sorry for her, kind of offers her hood too, her red hood. And, you know, the man takes it and he gives her the hat. And she says she's going to tell Steven, so, you know, maybe Steven will be a little bit nicer to her. Then we see Lawrence is meeting with Aunt Lydia. And Aunt Lydia got a plan, honey. She got an agenda. He like, something different about you, girl. You did your hair different? Like, what's going on, girl? What's the tea? You got a new look? And she looking at him like, bitch, I don't have time for you. I came up in here to tell you one thing. So he offers her a drink, and she puts the drink down. She says she gonna stand up and say whatever the hell she got to say. And she thinks that she can be of service to him. How you gonna tell somebody I'm gonna be of service to you, and then the next sentence is blackmail? She said she got witnesses to his black market activity, to his many abuses of power, to his collab with Off Joseph. And unless he arranges for her reimbursement, she gonna tell everybody. Period. He was like, you heard me? And he was like, bitch, I heard you. I heard you loud and clear, sis. Okay? But this what you gonna do for me. What else you got? Because if you got information on me, you got information on everybody. So if you want your job back, I'm gonna need my seat at the table. Okay, so I'm gonna need some of your info to do that. And she was like, well, I might consider a collab with you, but under one circumstance, that when you get off Joseph back, now I'm not exactly sure who off Joseph is. I don't know if that's supposed to be June or if that's supposed to be Emily. Okay, we got Emily. Thank you for the person in the comments who gave me her name. I'm not exactly sure who this is. Okay, but basically, when I get off Joseph back, she needs to be in my care so that I can handle her ass her way. So it seems like Lydia got revenge on her mind under the guise of holiness. Okay, like, girl, you're trying us. And he was like, well, cool, that's fine with me. That sounds like a good idea. Now, right then, my mind went to, is Lawrence going to double cross her? I thought he was going to double cross her and, like, kind of throw her ass under the bus, like, bitch, I got what I wanted and you can kiss my ass type stuff. But that's not happening. Okay, so they really doing a knockout collabo on this shit, right? So even they going behind Nick back. Lawrence didn't get what he wanted from Nick or didn't get his support, so he found another way to get what he wanted. Then we see June goes to Janine and she tells her she wants to find the Nighthawks. She wants to leave. And Janine was like, nah, sis, I didn't even want to come here, girl. I want to go to Boston and get the hell up out of here, but you want to come out here. She says, maybe here I can have a normal life.
Normal life?
A normal life? Girl, how?
Girl, where? Sis, how?
She can have a baby because they need more, American babies. I said, this... If somebody don't give Janine her medication, I know something. June is like, girl, you sound like Lydia. She said, no, bitch, you sound like Lydia, okay? You're so bossy and you're judgmental. I know what's right for me. And she was like, girl, Steven is taking advantage of your dumb ass. Why can't you see that?
Oh, bitch, I can see. I see everything, girl. I made a choice to lay up in the bed with him.
I just don't want you to get hurt. Well, maybe you should have thought about that with Alma and Brianna. I was like, oh, this is what we gonna do? Oh, this is what we gonna do, Janine? For real, sis? Ain't nobody tell Alma ass to get off that van. Ain't nobody tell Brianna to get off that van either. Them hoes got off and started running, so you know what happened. But also, don't send for Janine because she gonna come for your ass, okay? And June was like, okay, bitch. I see what we doing, okay? So I'm leaving tomorrow. Either you can come with me or you can be off Steven. It's your choice. Of Steven, really. They saying of Steven, of this person, of that person. So she kind of shading her like, here you go with another person that's about to mess over you, girl. So if you want to stay here and be up under his eye, then that's your business. But I'm out. When we see Nick smoking and the van arrives and two Marthas will hop out. These are the eyes, the sneaky people, the double crossing, the spy holes that's in the organization. And he's looking for June. And the black woman is like, June, okay? Everybody who helped her end up on the wall. Lots of good people died trying to help this hoe. Listen, I'm sorry, but I care about her. Do you have any information? And homegirl is like, information I have is that you better off without her. And she gets back on the van. And then we see the other girl is like, well, we did hear that there were two handmaids who were spotted headed into Chicago. Maybe one of those girls was June. June getting directions from this guy that she met to find the Nighthawks, and she thanks him. He's fairly nice to her. Janine comes out and she tells her, listen, this is really hard to say, but I have decided to stay. And she says, well, I figured that you would. And they say their goodbyes and they hug. It's all take care, girl. And then Janine runs up to her and gives her a hat. Janine is so childlike, to me. She's just so childlike in her thinking and actions. She gives her the hat, like I said, to remember her by. She's like, girl, how could I forget you? Oh, you can never forget old One Eye. You can't forget her. I hate my mama ever saying that because that is hilarious to me. June takes off crying. And we see Miss Lydia doing the symbolic. Once again, we have seen this through the whole season. People taking off their clothes, putting on their clothes. So the symbolic putting on of her clothes, right? And she goes out to go greet the handmaids. And she gives that tight-ass speech that she gives to all these handmaids. You about to hoe for the Lord. Okay, that's what you're going to do. You're going to be a hoe for Jesus out here. And ladies, you will never walk alone. And I love how they did the shot of her saying that, and then we see June doing what? Walking alone. Now my question was like, girl, you walking in the middle of the damn street. There's soldiers that can hop out the truck at any time. But strangely, it's very deserted in the area that she's walking through. So she's walking and she hears some noise, some rustling shit. She like, oh shit, something ain't right. So she jumps and she hides underneath this car, and then she realizes that it's Janine, the person who is following her. And Janine says, well, I feel safer when I'm with you. Handmaids always walking too, remember? And Janine is like, and June is like, yeah, girl, you know you right. And so they start walking together. So Janine did decide to leave and stick with June. Then we see Lauren seeing Nick in the hallway, and they greet each other, and Nick tells him, listen, I think she is in Chicago, so I'm going to back you. You know, whatever you have to say, that's cool. I'll back you on it. And then we're going to a meeting again with the council. And Lauren says, Nick wants to bring up the ceasefire, proposal again. And the men are like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We went and we thought about it, okay? Which means he came to us and told us, bitch, I'm about to spill your tea if you don't go ahead and do what I said we need to do. And they've decided to change their mind. And Nick looking like, what the is going on? What is happening? And they tell Nick that he's going to be in charge of the bombing. And he was like,
bomb who, bitch? What? I'm confused. What is we about the bomb?
And Lawrence was like, oh, he don't know, child. He don't know everything that we had talked about, y'all. So go ahead and give him the rundown. So apparently they are going to do a ceasefire, but right before the end of the deadline, they're going to aerial attack all the insurgents. And niggas like, hold up, that don't give us time to get our soldiers up out of there. I don't think that's a good idea. And they like, well, you better hop to it, bitch, because we about to declare. We done declared the shit already, so you better go ahead so we get these people, I didn't get your people out of there. Get to work. Lawrence tells him, well, just think about it like this. It's just the cost of doing business. And Nick looking at him like,
you dirty, low down bitch. You dirty.
That's what Nick gets for throwing him under the bus. But at the same time, that's how you know Lawrence ain't shit. Because he used June to make Nick do things. And then when Nick moved for him, or if he don't move fast enough, he get it done another way. Which means he really don't care about them. Like, he don't care about no damn June. You should know that the next time y'all get into a negotiation. Anyway, the council said, bitch, by his hand, you better get your ass up and get up out of there before them people get killed. Then we see Janine and June, J and J. They are walking through, the town. They seeing it's real deserted, and they talking about they hope the Nighthawks are going to help them and accept them. And June was like, they better accept me, bitch. I'm going to shoot their ass, too. She didn't say that. Don't see any soldiers when they arrive to the camp, but they see a lot of food. And Janine is like, oh, shit, all this food. She gathering food. And June is like, hold up, they wouldn't leave the food like this. Like, something ain't right, girl. Let's just pause. Let's stop for a second. She tells her, bitch, we need to run. They look in the sky and they see the planes, and then we see the aerial attack is happening right then. Like, they didn't waste no time. So it's a whole lot of shots fired, bombs being dropped, and they are running. Then we see June waking up and it's rubble everywhere. She sees the hat that is in the rubble and she's screaming for Janine. And she searches for her all over the place, and we don't see Janine anymore, y'all. And then we see Moira. Moira sees her, and she calls her name, and they see each other. And it was a beautiful moment, but at the same time, I felt like Janine was right when she should have stayed where she was. Maybe she should have stayed where she was, because we don't even know if that place got bombed as well. So, but I do feel like maybe Janine did make the right decision for herself and stay when she decided to stay at the camp. Because once again, she went with June, and going with June might have ended up in her being dead. So we don't know if Janine is alive or dead. If she, I don't want this hoe to be maimed. I mean, damn, she already ain't got no eye, y'all. Okay, so now what's gonna happen next to poor Janine, honey? So I thought this episode was excellent. It was so nice to see her finally be reunited with Moira. We've been waiting on this moment, honey, forever. Is she gonna go to Canada, bitch? Is she gonna be free? At least for a little while. Just a minute, just a second. Woo! It was good. It was a good episode. I ain't gonna lie. Now, June still be out here trying to be reckless. But maybe you should have just left Janine where she was at, sis. I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts about this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with all your friends. And I will holler at y'all next week.